I bought a luxury apartment. My cousin tried to claim it as her graduation gift, but she was not expecting my next move. The morning sun streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting golden reflections across polished hardwood floors. I stood in the center of my living room, coffee mug in hand, watching the city wake up 40 stories below. Even after 3 months, I couldn't believe this place was mine, all mine. "You did it, Emma," I whispered to myself, tracing my fingers along the cool marble countertop that separated the kitchen from the open-concept living area. The journey to this moment had been anything but easy. 7 years of 80-hour workweeks, surviving on instant ramen while my colleagues splurged on weekend getaways. For promotions earned through sleepless nights and sacrificed holidays. Every penny saved, invested, and carefully grown until I could finally afford the down payment on this luxury apartment in the city's most coveted high-rise. My phone buzzed with a calendar reminder. Lila's graduation party, 2 p.m. My cousin was finishing college today, something our entire extended family considered miraculous given her history of academic disinterest. I smiled, thinking about how proud Aunt Diane must be. Despite our occasional differences, family was family, and celebrations were mandatory in the Martinez clan. 3 hours later, I was navigating through the crowded backyard of my aunt and uncle's suburban home, balancing a plate of barbecue and a gift bag containing the rose gold bracelet I'd picked out for Lila. Relatives I hadn't seen in months converged, pulling me into tight hugs and rapid-fire conversations about my job, my apartment, my perpetually single status. There she is, the big corporate success. Uncle Roy called out, his booming voice silencing nearby conversations. Come, Lila's about to make a speech." I made my way to the makeshift stage area where my cousin stood, resplendent in a form-fitting blue dress that complemented her graduation cap and gown draped casually over a nearby chair. At 22, Lila had always been beautiful in that effortless way that inspired both admiration and envy: glossy dark hair, almond-shaped eyes, and a smile that could charm strict professors into extending deadlines. "Everyone, thank you so much for coming today," Lila began, her voice carrying across the yard. "This degree means everything to me. It represents years of hard work, sacrifice, and determination." I smiled supportively, though memories of her frequent social media posts showcasing beach trips and club nights during finals week flickered through my mind. "But today isn't just about my academic achievement," she continued, her eyes suddenly finding mine in the crowd. "It's also about family, generosity, and incredible gifts." Something in her expression made my stomach tighten. As most of you know, my amazing cousin Emma has been crushing it in her career. She gestured toward me with a dramatic flourish. And in true Emma fashion, she's decided to share her success with me in the most unbelievable way. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I stood frozen, confusion crashing over me in waves. "Emma has gifted me her luxury apartment as my graduation present," Lila announced, her voice breaking with apparent emotion. "Can you believe it? After all my struggling through college, I get to start my adult life in the most amazing place. Emma, stand up so everyone can see how incredible you are." The backyard erupted in gasps, applause, and exclamations. My aunt burst into tears. My uncle began loudly praising my generosity. Second cousins I barely knew rushed to hug me. Through it all, I remained rooted to the spot, speechless, as the blood drained from my face. I finally managed, but my voice was lost in the celebratory chaos. "A toast to Emma and her incredible gift to Lila," someone shouted, and suddenly glasses were raised all around me. I locked eyes with Lila, who maintained her joyful expression while giving me a look that clearly said, "Just go with it." After what felt like an eternity of congratulations and backslapping, I finally managed to pull Lila aside, dragging her into the relative quiet of the kitchen. "What the hell was that?" I hissed, my hands shaking with anger and disbelief. Lila casually leaned against the counter, examining her freshly manicured nails. "Relax, Emma. It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal?" You just told our entire family that I'm giving you my apartment. The apartment I worked 7 years to afford. She shrugged, reaching past me to grab a strawberry from a fruit platter. You have everything. Your career is set. You could buy another place tomorrow if you wanted to. The audacity left me momentarily speechless. You're delusional. I finally managed. You're not getting my apartment. Not now, not ever. Well, that's going to be awkward, isn't it? She popped the strawberry into her mouth, chewing thoughtfully. Because I've already told everyone I'm moving in next week. I've even started packing. That's your problem, not mine, I replied, fighting to keep my voice from shaking. I never promised you anything. Lila's expression hardened, the pleasant mask slipping to reveal something colder beneath. You've always been so selfish, Emma. Everyone talks about it, you know. How you left the family behind when you got successful. That's not true, and you know it. Doesn't matter what's true. She pushed herself away from the counter and moved toward the door. What matters is what people believe. As she reached the doorway, she turned back, a small smirk playing on her lips. You have everything. This is nothing for you. You're not moving in, Lila, I stated firmly. This isn't up for discussion. We'll see, she replied, fixing her graduation cap back on her head. Family comes first, right? Isn't that what Grandma always says? She disappeared back into the party crowd, leaving me alone in the kitchen, my celebration plate untouched, my thoughts spinning with disbelief and growing dread. I remained at the party just long enough not to cause a scene, deflecting excited questions about Lila's impending move with noncommittal smiles and vague comments about still figuring out the details. When I finally escaped to my car, my phone already displayed missed calls from 3 different relatives, undoubtedly eager to discuss my incredible generosity. Driving back to my apartment, I gripped the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. The skyline grew larger through my windshield, the afternoon sun glinting off the glass facade of my building. I had dreamed of this place for years, had the floor plan as my phone background during the darkest days of working and saving. As I pulled into my designated parking space and looked up at the soaring tower, a cold determination settled over me. I had fought too hard for this life to have it hijacked by a manipulative cousin with entitlement issues. Lila might think she had the upper hand with her public announcement and family manipulation, but she had severely underestimated what I was willing to do to protect what was mine. If she wanted a war, she would get one, and she was not going to like how it ended. What she didn't know yet was that I had dealt with corporate sharks and cutthroat competitors for years. Compared to them, a spoiled graduate with a flair for drama would be child's play.
Game on, Lila.
Game on. The first call came at 6:17 a.m., 3 days after the graduation party. I fumbled for my phone in the darkness, squinting at the screen. Aunt Patricia, my father's sister, and the family's self-appointed moral compass. Emma Martinez, I have never been so disappointed in a family member in all my years, came the immediate assault, with no greeting. Your own cousin, homeless and in tears, while you sleep in luxury. Is this how your parents raised you? I sat up, instantly alert. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me, young lady. Lila told us everything, how you promised her the apartment and then cruelly took it back. The poor girl has nowhere to go. Her parents already rented out her room, thinking she'd be moving into your place. My head spun. Aunt Patricia, I never. Save it. I saw the video. We all did. Check your messages. And then check your conscience. She hung up. I opened Instagram where Lila had tagged me in a post. The video began to play. Lila sitting on what appeared to be a city curb, a small suitcase beside her. Her makeup was smudged artfully around her eyes, giving the perfect impression of someone who had been crying for hours. I don't know what to do now, she sniffled into the camera. After 4 years of dedicating my life to my education, I thought I had a place to live. My cousin Emma promised me her apartment as a graduation gift. She even announced it to the whole family. I gasped aloud. The absolute audacity. But yesterday, she continued, she texted me saying she changed her mind, that her apartment was too valuable to give away. She knows I have nowhere else to go. My parents already converted my room into a home gym. The video continued with Lila detailing how she had been left with nothing while I hoarded wealth and betrayed family trust. The comment section was a battlefield of accusations against me. What kind of monster does this to their own family? This is why I have trust issues. At Emma Martinez, you should be ashamed of yourself. By the time I finished reading, my phone was buzzing with more calls and messages. Relatives I hadn't spoken to in years were suddenly invested in my personal affairs. Aren't you ashamed of letting your own cousin be homeless? She has nowhere to go, and you have a luxury apartment all to yourself. You're so selfish. Family comes first. I raised you better than this, Emma. Call me immediately.
Mom.
That last one stung the most. Even my own parents were falling for the charade. I tried calling Lila, but my calls went straight to voicemail. I sent her a message. Take down that video immediately. You know none of this is true. Her reply came seconds later. It's all true to me. You promised. The family heard you. Why should you have everything while I start with nothing?
The doorbell rang.
Through the security camera, I saw my mother's cousin Raphael and his wife standing in the hallway. Emma, we know you're in there, Raphael called out. We need to talk about Lila. This situation is unacceptable. Raphael, I'm getting ready for work. We can discuss this later. No, we discuss it now. Do the right thing, Emma. Family comes first. I never promised Lila my apartment, I said firmly. She announced it without my knowledge or consent at her graduation. Raphael's wife leaned toward the camera. She's 22 with no job yet. Where is she supposed to go? You have a 3-bedroom apartment all to yourself. You can at least give her one room temporarily. My phone pinged with another notification. Lila had posted again, this time a tearful selfie from what appeared to be a public bathroom. The caption read, "When you have to wash your face in a gas station because your own family won't help you. #homeless, #betrayed, #family hurt." The comment section had swelled to over 300 messages, many from people I didn't even know, all condemning me. I sat down at my kitchen island, breathing deeply to calm my growing anger. Something about this whole situation felt off. If she was truly homeless and desperate as she claimed, there would be consistency in her posts and location tags. As I scrolled deeper into her recent activity, tiny inconsistencies began to emerge. A reflection in sunglasses showing a luxury hotel lobby. A distinctive bedspread visible in the corner of a crying selfie that matched a high-end hotel chain. I texted my cousin Marcus, Lila's brother. Marcus, where is Lila actually staying right now? This is getting out of hand. His response was unexpected. I thought she was with you? That's what she told everyone. She's definitely not with me. She's posting about being homeless online and turning the family against me. Give me a day. Something doesn't add up. By evening, the situation had escalated further. Someone had created a hashtag Justice for Lila, that was gaining traction. Lila had posted a third video, claiming she'd be sleeping on a park bench that night. My doorbell rang again. This time it was my parents. The conversation that followed was one of the most difficult I'd ever had. My mother, tears in her eyes, couldn't understand why I would do this to Lila. My father, usually my strongest supporter, seemed conflicted and disappointed. I worked for this apartment, I explained. I never promised it to Lila. She made that up completely. But she needs help, Emma, my mother pleaded. She has nowhere to go. Why isn't anyone asking why her parents suddenly converted her room without having a plan for her? Or why she didn't arrange housing before graduation like every other adult? After they left, I received a message from Marcus. Call me. You're going to want to see this. 10 minutes later, I was staring at my laptop screen in shock. Marcus had sent me a link to Lila's private Instagram account. She created this alt account last year, Marcus explained. She uses it when she doesn't want the family seeing what she's up to. The most recent post showed Lila enjoying herself at a rooftop bar. The geotag showed a trendy area in a neighboring city. The timestamp, yesterday evening. I clicked through and found a video tour of a luxury Airbnb. Lila's voice narrated, "Home for the next month while I figure out my next move." Thank you, graduation money. As I scrolled further, other posts revealed shopping bags from designer stores, new jewelry, VIP nightclub wristbands, all while she was supposedly homeless and suffering. A cold fury replaced my earlier distress. This wasn't just about me anymore. Lila was manipulating our entire family. What are you going to do? Marcus asked. Something she's not expecting. I replied quietly. Thank you, Marcus. I sent Lila a single message. Hope you're enjoying the Airbnb. Nice place. Her response came quickly. What are you talking about? I'm literally on a park bench. I smiled to myself, not bothering to reply. Let her worry about what I knew and how. Because Lila had made a critical error. She'd chosen the wrong cousin to manipulate. Morning light filtered through my apartment windows as I sipped coffee and scrolled through the latest developments in the Lila situation. Overnight, she had doubled down on her homeless narrative, posting a blurry photo of herself supposedly huddled in a park. Night 3 of nowhere to call home. At least the stars are pretty. Hashtag betrayed by family. The family group chat was ablaze with concern and outrage, mostly directed at me. I remained silent, watching the performance unfold. Marcus had sent me a private message. She was at Skyline Lounge last night until 2 a.m. I have screenshots from my friend who bartends there. I opened my laptop and created a new document titled, The Secret Life of Lila Rodriguez. Then I began methodically compiling evidence. Screenshots from her alternate Instagram showing her luxury Airbnb. Geotags contradicting her homeless timeline. Credit card statements Marcus sent showing recent purchases at high-end stores. Photos of her at clubs during her supposed homeless crisis. Messages where she had accidentally revealed contradicting details. I was building a case, just as I would for a major corporate presentation. The lawyer in me was thoroughly documenting each inconsistency. My phone buzzed with a message from my mother. Emma, please call me. The family is very concerned about Lila's situation. Mom, before you say anything, I need you to listen. I began when she answered. I'm gathering evidence that Lila is lying about everything. She's not homeless. She's staying in a luxury Airbnb and partying every night. Emma, my mother finally said, her voice hesitant, are you sure about this? It seems extreme for Lila to make up something so elaborate. I'm sending you proof right now, I replied, emailing her selected screenshots. And, Mom, there's something else you should know. She's seeking donations. What? She's added a Cash App linked to her posts. People are sending her money because they believe she's homeless. That's fraud, Mom. The sharp intake of breath told me this detail hit home. My mother had always been strict about honesty. While I waited, I continued my investigation. A mutual friend had sent me a video of Lila at a rooftop bar last night, clearly intoxicated, boasting about coming into money soon and how she would be upgrading her living situation. This wasn't just about an apartment anymore. This was about character, about truth and manipulation. My mother called back 20 minutes later. I don't know what to say, she began, her voice heavy with disappointment. These pictures, they're definitely recent? Yes, I confirmed. All from the past 5 days, while she's been posting about being homeless. Your father and I owe you an apology, she said softly. We should have trusted you. By mid-afternoon, Marcus called with a bombshell. She's planning something big, he said without preamble. She told her roommate she's going to stage a major breakdown photo tomorrow morning, something about crying on a park bench at sunrise. She's even hired a photographer friend to make it look authentically devastating. And how do you know this? I asked. Her roommate at the Airbnb is dating my friend Tomas. She thinks this whole thing is getting out of hand and felt guilty keeping it secret. A plan began forming in my mind. This staged photo, she'll use it to ask for more donations? Apparently, she's already drafted the caption. It's all about how she's been forced to sell her graduation gifts to survive and how she doesn't know how she'll afford first month's rent anywhere. I opened my evidence document, adding this new information. Marcus, I need one more favor. Can you get me the exact location and time of this photo shoot? Already on it.
Why?
What are you thinking? I smiled grimly. I'm thinking it's time for a reality check. Over the next 24 hours, I methodically gathered my final pieces of evidence. She had now added a heartbreaking video of herself allegedly trying to wash her clothes in a public bathroom sink, garnering hundreds of sympathetic comments and more donations. What she didn't realize was that the distinctive tile pattern matched exactly with the bathroom of her luxury Airbnb, photos of which were available on the rental listing page. The family dynamic had shifted slightly. Those who had initially been most vocal against me had grown quieter, likely having been shown some evidence by my parents or Marcus. Lila, sensing this change, had ramped up her posts, tagging more distant relatives and family friends. At 6 p.m., Marcus texted me the final details. Sunrise photo shoot tomorrow, 5:30 a.m., Westside Park near the fountain. She's bringing 3 outfits to choose from. Perfect, I replied. Don't tell anyone else. By 4:30 a.m., I was showered and dressed in a simple, professional outfit. I packed my laptop, a portable printer, and a folder containing key evidence, then headed to Westside Park. I positioned myself on a bench with a clear view of the fountain and waited. At exactly 5:27 a.m., Lila arrived with a young man carrying photography equipment. She didn't notice me, too busy instructing him on angles and lighting. I watched as she carefully arranged a small suitcase beside a bench, then began artfully disheveling her hair. Make sure you get the dew on the grass, she instructed her photographer. It adds to the whole I slept outside vibe. I waited until she had assumed her position, head in hands, shoulders slumped in practiced despair, before approaching. Good morning, Lila, I called out. Beautiful morning for a photo shoot, isn't it? Her head snapped up, eyes widening in shock. Emma? What are you? How did you know you'd be here? I finished for her. Let's just say you're not as careful with your secrets as you think. The photographer looked between us, confused. Should I keep shooting or? Oh, absolutely, I said pleasantly. In fact, I think you're about to capture a much more interesting story than the one you were hired for. Lila jumped to her feet, panic flashing across her face. We're done here, Jake. Pack up. I smiled. Before you go, Jake, I'm curious. How much is my cousin paying you for this early morning session? He looked uncomfortable but answered, $200 plus breakfast. Interesting budget for someone who claims to be homeless and penniless, I observed. But then again, the Airbnb you've been staying at isn't cheap either. What was it, $300 a night? You don't know what you're talking about, she hissed, but her eyes darted nervously. Don't I? I opened my folder. Here's you at Skyline Lounge 3 nights ago, nice VIP section. And here's your purchase receipt from Valeni's Boutique, $5.80 for a handbag. Oh, and my personal favorite, your Airbnb tour video. You've been stalking me, Lila accused.
No, Lila.
I've been investigating fraud, I replied calmly. Once you started collecting donations under false pretenses, this crossed from family drama into potential criminal territory. Her face paled. You wouldn't dare. What I want is for you to come clean to the family, return any donations you've received, and end this ridiculous charade. It's not a charade, she insisted, though her voice had lost its conviction. I really do need a place to stay. Then perhaps you should have spent your graduation money on a rental deposit instead of designer bags and VIP club access, I suggested. What exactly do you want from me? She finally asked. The truth, I replied simply. And if I refuse? I gestured to the folder in my hands. Then this evidence goes public, to the family, to everyone who donated to you, to the university you just graduated from. The photographer cleared his throat. I should probably go. Wait, I called. Would you be willing to make a statement about being hired for this photo shoot if needed? He nodded slowly. Yeah, I mean, this seems pretty messed up. Lila's facade was crumbling. You're bluffing, she tried one last time. You wouldn't humiliate me like that. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You tried to steal my home, Lila. You turned my family against me. You lied, manipulated, and slandered me publicly. Do not test my resolve. She looked away first.
Fine.
What do I need to do? As the sun crested over the horizon, I outlined my terms. By the time we parted ways, I had her verbal agreement and a recorded video statement admitting to her deception. Walking back to my car, I felt no triumph, only a weary sense of resolution. I had protected what was mine, but the cost had been high. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Did it work? I typed back simply. It did, but we're not done yet. Because while I had won this battle, I suspected she might not honor our agreement. And if that happened, I was fully prepared for public exposure on a scale she couldn't begin to imagine. For 3 days, I watched and waited. 3 days of deceptive calm where Lila neither removed her homeless posts nor confessed to the family. The Cash App link remained active, silently collecting donations from sympathetic strangers. According to Marcus, she'd retreated to her Airbnb, probably calculating whether my threats held weight. She was about to discover they did. On the morning of the 4th day, my patience evaporated. I'd given her ample opportunity to make things right. Now it was time for consequences. I called in sick to work, something I hadn't done in years, and transformed my dining table into a command center. My laptop, evidence folder, and a fresh pot of coffee were all I needed for what came next. I carefully crafted a document titled The Truth About Lila's Homelessness Claim, organizing each piece of evidence chronologically: the luxury Airbnb screenshots, designer purchase receipts, nightclub photos, and most damning of all, the video confession from our sunrise confrontation. Just as I finished my preparations, a notification lit up my phone. Lila had posted again, her most dramatic production yet. There she sat on a park bench, stripped of makeup, hair pulled back severely, dressed in her most humble-looking clothes. Beside her stood the same suitcase from our confrontation, now paired with a handwritten cardboard sign, "Graduate in Need." The caption read, "Day 7 of homelessness. I've tried everything. No family to turn to. Please help if you can." Below it, her Cash App link had been joined by something new, a GoFundMe campaign with a $10,000 goal for first apartment deposit and basic necessities. My hands trembled with cold fury as I read her new fabricated story, which now included claims that I had tracked her down to threaten her, and how she feared for her safety. Marcus texted immediately. She's planning to delete everything in 48 hours and move to her friend's place in San Diego. She thinks she's won. "Thank you for everything," I replied. "It's time." I took a deep breath and executed my plan. First, I posted the complete truth document to my social media accounts, tagging every family member who had criticized me. The evidence was methodical, irrefutable, and devastating in its completeness. Second, I shared selected screenshots to the family group chat with a simple message. I gave Lila the opportunity to tell you the truth. She chose to escalate her lies instead. Here are the facts. Third, I reported the GoFundMe campaign for fraud, attaching evidence proving the creator was neither homeless nor in financial distress. Finally, I sent Lila a private message. "I warned you. The truth is now public. This was your choice." I set my phone down and waited for the storm. It broke within minutes. The family group chat exploded with messages, shock, disbelief, and rapidly shifting anger, now directed at Lila instead of me. Aunt Patricia, who had been my harshest critic, was suddenly my most vocal defender, demanding Lila explain herself. On social media, my posts spread quickly beyond family circles. People who had donated began commenting, demanding refunds and explanations. The carefully crafted image Lila had built was collapsing in real time, each new comment adding to the avalanche. Lila's response was predictable: panic. First came frantic deletion attempts. Her homeless posts vanished one by one, but screenshots had already been saved and shared. Then came the private message. "Take it down. You're ruining my life." I didn't respond. This was no longer in my hands. By noon, the GoFundMe page had been suspended pending investigation. By 2 o'clock, several donors had publicly announced they were considering legal action to recover their money. By dinner time, the hashtag Justice for Lila had been repurposed, now highlighting her deception rather than my supposed cruelty. Relatives who had shown up at my door demanding I do the right thing were suddenly silent. Their righteous indignation evaporated. Some sent awkward apologies. Others pretended they had never doubted me. The family WhatsApp group temporarily shut down from the volume of messages. Through it all, I maintained my composure. This wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. My phone rang at sunset. Unknown number. Hello. I answered cautiously. Emma, it's me. Lila's voice sounded small, stripped of its usual confidence. You have to help me. People are saying they'll sue me. My friends are ghosting me. I can't even go on social media. You created this situation, I reminded her. Every step of the way, you chose deception. I know, she said, her voice cracking. I messed up. But you've made your point. Please call off the dogs. These aren't dogs I can call off, Lila. These are consequences. People you lied to, people whose sympathy you exploited, people whose money you took under false pretenses. What do I do? There was genuine fear in her voice now. Return the donations. All of them. Post a complete, honest apology. And most importantly, stop expecting others to clean up your messes. She was quiet for a long moment. Will you take down your post if I do that? No, I said firmly. The truth stays up. But I'll add an update acknowledging your apology if it seems genuine. After we hung up, I felt no satisfaction, only a weary resignation. This entire situation could have been avoided if Lila had simply respected boundaries and truth. An hour later, Marcus called. Have you seen? He asked without preamble. Her parents are getting involved now. How so? They're saying you went too far, that public humiliation wasn't necessary. They're calling family members asking them to support Lila during this difficult time. I closed my eyes, unsurprised but disappointed. Of course they are. Heaven forbid she face actual consequences. They want you to remove your posts and issue an apology for damaging her reputation, Marcus continued. They're saying family matters should stay private. Interesting stance, considering Lila made this very public herself, I observed. What do you think they'll do? Probably call you directly. Just wanted to give you a heads up. True to prediction, my phone rang 15 minutes later. Aunt Diane and Uncle Robert, Lila's parents. The conversation was short and tense. They demanded I retract everything. I refused. She tried to ruin my name, I told them firmly. Now she can live with hers. With that, I ended the call and blocked Lila's number. Then I turned off all notifications and walked to my balcony. The city sprawled below, lights twinkling in the evening darkness. My apartment, my hard-earned sanctuary, felt more precious than ever. Here, 40 stories above the chaos, I had created something that was truly mine. Something no one had the right to claim through manipulation or entitlement. As I stood there, I felt a peculiar sense of peace settle over me. Family was important, yes, but so were boundaries, truth, and self-respect. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, relationships to rebuild, explanations to give, perhaps even fences to mend. But tonight? Tonight, I would sleep soundly in the home I had earned, without fake family leeches trying to claim what wasn't theirs. Because sometimes the most powerful statement isn't what you say, it's what you refuse to give away. The morning after my digital bombshell, I woke to over 100 notifications. Overnight, the situation had evolved from family drama to viral spectacle. Hashtag Lila the Scammer was trending locally, with people sharing my evidence alongside their own stories of being deceived by similar tactics. I scrolled through the aftermath, watching as Lila's carefully constructed facade crumbled in real time. She had desperately tried to delete everything, her fake homeless posts, her donation appeals, even her main Instagram account. But the internet's memory proved longer than her foresight. Have you seen this? Texted Marcus, attaching screenshots from a community Facebook group. People who had donated to Lila were organizing, comparing receipts and messages. What had begun as individual disappointment was coalescing into collective action. One woman's comment stood out. I gave her $200 because I was homeless myself last year. I ate ramen for 2 weeks to afford that donation. Finding out she was living in luxury while pretending to sleep on benches. I've never felt so betrayed. The narrative had completely flipped. Family members who had called me heartless were now publicly distancing themselves from Lila, some even claiming they always suspected something wasn't right about her story. The hypocrisy was staggering but unsurprising. My phone rang. Aunt Patricia, my earliest and harshest critic. "Emma, I don't know what to say," she began, her voice uncharacteristically subdued. "We all owe you an apology. Especially me." "You believed what seemed believable," I replied, surprising myself with my lack of resentment. Lila has always been good at manipulating emotions. "Not just that," Patricia admitted. "I wanted to believe her because it made me feel righteous to defend someone vulnerable against someone successful. It was easier than acknowledging your hard work while she trailed off. While she was partying through college and expecting rewards she hadn't earned, I finished for her." "Yes," she said quietly.
"The family is in chaos right now.
Robert and Diane are furious with you, but the rest of us, we're just ashamed we fell for it." As I ended the call, an email notification appeared from GoFundMe's Trust and Safety Team, confirming they had permanently suspended Lila's campaign and were investigating possible legal violations. They requested my continued cooperation with their fraud department. By midday, the situation escalated further. Someone had compiled a video montage juxtaposing Lila's tearful, homeless claims with footage from her private account showing her partying at exclusive clubs that same night. The video was spreading rapidly, each share widening the circle of public outrage. Then came the donors. "Your cousin scammed me out of my rent money," wrote one college student through Instagram. "I donated because I thought I was helping another graduate. Now I can't make my own rent payment. I gathered donations from my church group for her," wrote a middle-aged woman. "We raised $475. Now my entire congregation feels deceived. How do I explain this to them?" Their messages weren't angry at me. They were grateful for the exposure, but devastated by the betrayal. Each story twisted the knife deeper, transforming my personal vindication into something more uncomfortable: responsibility for the fallout affecting innocent people. Around 3 p.m., my building's security desk called. "Ms. Martinez, there's a young woman downstairs insisting on seeing you. Says she's your cousin. She seems agitated." Lila had come to my apartment, the very one she had tried to claim. "I'm not available," I told the security officer. "Please ask her to leave the premises." 20 minutes later, my phone blew up with messages from various family members. Apparently, Lila had been escorted out by security while screaming about my betrayal and ruining her life. She'd immediately driven to her parents' house, where she was reportedly having a complete meltdown. "She's threatening to sue you for defamation," texted Marcus. "Mom and Dad are talking about hiring a lawyer." I almost laughed. Everything I posted is documented fact. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. The corporate lawyer I dated last year had taught me that much, at least. As evening approached, the backlash intensified in unexpected ways. Some of Lila's closest friends, those who had supported her homeless narrative most vocally, were now facing questions about their own complicity. Had they known? Had they facilitated the deception? One by one, they began publicly distancing themselves from her. "I had no idea she was lying," posted her roommate from senior year. "I honestly thought she was staying with relatives while looking for an apartment. For the record, I never saw her sleep on any bench," wrote another friend. She told me the photos were for a performance art project about urban poverty. Even her photographer from the park confrontation posted a public apology. "I was hired for what I thought was a legitimate photo session. I had no idea it was part of a scam. I've returned the payment and will be donating matching funds to actual homeless services." The abandonment was swift and complete. The same social circle that had amplified her lies now scrambled to protect their own reputations from the taint of association. By nightfall, Lila's social media presence had been completely scrubbed, not by her own deletion attempts, but by platform suspensions. Both her PayPal and Cash App accounts were frozen pending investigation. Just before midnight, She finally broke her silence with a hastily recorded video statement posted to a newly created account. Her face was puffy from crying, her usually perfect appearance disheveled. "I want to apologize for my actions," she began, voice trembling. "I made a terrible mistake by pretending to be homeless and accepting donations under false pretenses. I will be refunding everyone who gave me money." The apology continued with careful wording that struck me as lawyer-coached, admitting just enough to seem contrite without confessing to anything legally actionable. What she didn't say spoke volumes. No acknowledgement of trying to steal my apartment, no mention of turning the family against me, no genuine accountability for the deliberate manipulation. The comments section quickly filled with skepticism. Another performance. "Only sorry because you got caught. Where's our refund info? Actions have consequences, princess." As I closed my laptop and prepared for bed, I felt strangely empty. The vindication I'd expected to savor tasted hollow. Yes, the truth had prevailed, but at what cost to the extended family? To the innocent donors who might never see their money again? Even to Lila herself, whose reputation lay in tatters. My phone buzzed one final time, a text from my mother. "This has all gone too far. Family is family. We need to talk about fixing this situation." I stared at the message, understanding the subtext. Already, the family was shifting toward damage control and reconciliation. Already, they were looking to me, the wrong party, to help rehabilitate the person who had tried to destroy me. "That's a conversation for another day." I texted back and turned off my phone. Tonight, at least, I would sleep without guilt. Tomorrow's challenges would come soon enough. A week after the social media explosion, life had seemingly returned to normal. I was back at work, immersed in project deadlines and client meetings. My apartment once again felt like a sanctuary rather than contested territory. The family group chat had cautiously revived, focusing on neutral topics like Uncle Pedro's retirement party and Cousin Miguel's new baby. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Most relatives had sent awkward apologies, brief messages acknowledging they'd misjudged the situation without directly addressing their role in amplifying Lila's lies. I'd accepted these olive branches graciously, more interested in peace than vindication. Lila, meanwhile, had gone completely dark. According to Marcus, she deactivated all social media and barely left her parents' house, where she'd been staying since her Airbnb funds ran out. The GoFundMe investigation was ongoing, but she'd reportedly managed to refund most individual donors who had contacted her directly. I thought the worst was behind us until the text arrived. "Emma, we need to talk. I know I messed up, but I need a chance to explain. Meet me at Riverfront Coffee tomorrow at 3? Please." I stared at Lila's message for a long time, weighing my options. Part of me wanted to ignore it completely. Another part was curious. What possible explanation could she offer for such elaborate deception? After consulting with Marcus, who confirmed Lila seemed genuinely desperate to speak with me, I agreed to the meeting. Riverfront Coffee was busy when I arrived, the afternoon crowd of students and remote workers occupying most tables. I spotted Lila immediately, hunched in a corner booth, her usual polished appearance notably dimmed. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup, just jeans, a plain sweater, and dark circles under her eyes. "Thank you for coming," she said as I sat down, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't think you would." "I almost didn't," I admitted. "What do you want, Lila?" She fidgeted with her coffee cup. "I know sorry doesn't begin to cover it. What I did was inexcusable." "Yes, it was. But you have to understand, I was desperate. Graduation hit me hard. Everyone expected me to have this amazing job and perfect life lined up, and I had nothing. Then I saw your apartment, and it just seemed so unfair that you had all that space to yourself while I was facing student loans and dead-end job prospects." I raised an eyebrow. "So your solution was to publicly claim I'd promised you my home, turn the family against me, and scam strangers out of their money?" She winced. "When you put it like that, how else would you put it?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Emma, my life is falling apart. My friends won't talk to me. That video of me is everywhere. Someone even recognized me at a job interview last week, and the manager suddenly said the position was filled. I can't move on while your posts are still up. And there it was, the real reason for this meeting. You didn't ask to see me to apologize, I said, realization dawning. You want me to take down the evidence so you can rebuild your reputation. It's been a week, she pleaded. Haven't I suffered enough? I've learned my lesson, I promise. Have you though? Because sitting here listening to you, all I'm hearing is more concern about your image than actual remorse for what you did to me, to the family, to the people who donated to you. I'm trying to make amends. Her voice rose slightly, drawing glances from nearby tables. I've refunded almost everyone. I've apologized publicly. What more do you want from me? I don't want anything from you, Lila. That's the point you keep missing. I never did. She leaned forward, desperation in her eyes. Please, Emma, just take down the posts. Let me move on. I'll do anything. Anything except accept the consequences of your actions, I replied calmly. The answer is no. Her facade cracked then, the feigned contrition giving way to familiar entitlement. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Watching me suffer? All because I asked for a little help. You didn't ask for help. You tried to take what wasn't yours, and when that failed, you tried to destroy my reputation. It was just an apartment, she hissed. You could buy 10 more with what you make. I stood up, gathering my purse. And that right there is why the posts stay up.
You still don't get it.
Before I could leave, my phone rang, and Diane, Lila's mother. I almost declined the call, but something told me to answer. Hello. Emma, thank goodness. I've been trying to reach you. Her voice was tight with controlled anger. Lila tells me you're refusing to remove those horrible posts. This has gone on long enough. You've made your point. I caught Lila's smug expression. She texted her mother the moment our conversation turned south. And Diane, with all due respect, this isn't about making a point. She's family, Emma. We protect family, not publicly humiliate them. I'm asking you, take down those posts. Let her heal. Let us all heal. I took a deep breath. Did you ask Lila to take down her posts when they were destroying my reputation? Did you step in when family members were showing up at my door making demands based on her lies? Her silence was answer enough. I understand you want to protect your daughter, I continued. But I won't help her pretend this never happened. We can discuss this as a family, she insisted. Your uncle and I are willing to sit down. No, I said firmly. This ends now. Lila tried to ruin my name. Now she can live with hers. I ended the call and turned to my cousin, whose expression had shifted from smugness to shock. You blocked me, she said incredulously as I gathered my things. Yes, I confirmed. And now I'm blocking your parents too. When you're ready to take genuine responsibility, not just because you want something from me, maybe we can talk again. Her face contorted with anger. You'll regret this. Family is supposed to help each other. Goodbye, Lila, I said simply and walked away, ignoring her continued protests. Outside, the afternoon sun felt warm on my face. For the first time in weeks, I felt truly free from the manipulation and drama that had consumed so much of my energy. That evening, standing on my balcony overlooking the city lights, I made peace with my decision. Some would call it harsh, others vindictive. But boundaries, once drawn, needed to be maintained. My phone buzzed with a message from Marcus. Heard what happened. You okay? I smiled, typing back. Better than okay. I'm finally home. And I was in this apartment I had earned through years of hard work, discipline, and sacrifice. No guilt, no family obligation, no manipulative cousin could take that away. Some lessons come at a high price. Lila's cost her a reputation. Mine taught me the value of standing firm. As I gazed out at the glittering skyline, I raised my wine glass in a silent toast to independence, boundaries, and the sweet satisfaction of enjoying what I had rightfully earned, without fake family leeches trying to claim it as their own. Because in the end, that was the most luxurious part of my apartment. It was truly, completely, irrevocably mine.